It is Tuesday, February the 4th of the year of the Lord 2025. The Gospel is taken from St. Mark chapter 5, verse 21 to 43. When Jesus had crossed again in the boat to the other side, a large crowd gathered around him. He stayed close to the sea. One of the synagogue officials, named Jairus, came forward. Seeing him, he fell at his feet and pleaded earnestly with him, saying, "My daughter is at the point of death. Please come, lay your hand on her that she may get well and live." He went off with him, and a large crowd followed him. There was a woman afflicted with hemorrhages for 12 years. She had suffered greatly at the hands of many doctors and had spent all that she had, yet she was not helped, but only grew worse. She had heard about Jesus and came up behind him in the crowds and touched his cloak. She said, "If I but touch his clothes, I shall be cured." Immediately, her flow of blood dried up. She felt in her body that she was healed of her affliction. Jesus, aware at once that power had gone out from him, turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who has touched my clothes?" But his disciples said to him, "You see how the crowd is pressing upon you, and yet you ask, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked around to see who had done it. The woman, realizing what had happened to her, approached in fear and trembling. She fell down before Jesus and told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be cured of your affliction." While he was still speaking, people from the synagogue's official's house arrived and said, "Your daughter has died. Why trouble the teacher any longer?" Disregarding the message that was reported, Jesus said to the synagogue official, "Do not be afraid, just have faith." He did not allow anyone to accompany him inside except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they arrived at the house of the synagogue officials, he caught sight of a commotion, people weeping and wailing loudly. So he went in and said to them, "Why this commotion and weeping? The child is not dead, but asleep." And they ridiculed him. Then he put them all out. He took along the child's father and mother and those who were with him and entered the room where the child was. He took the child by the hand and said to her, "Talitha cum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." The girl, a child of 12, arose immediately and walked around. At that, they were utterly astounded. He gave strict orders that no one should know this and said that she should be given something to eat. The Gospel of the Lord. We are in this section of the Gospel of Mark, chapter 5. There are 3 miracles. Yesterday, we listened to one. Today, we listened to the other 2. There are the stories about faith, about women. The women had been 12 years suffering with the flow of blood. The girl was 12 years old. She had suffered a lot, this woman, that she spent all her money in doctors, but she got worse. She didn't have any choice. But first, let us go with Jairus. Jairus is the one looking for Jesus. He's an official. He belongs to the synagogue. But maybe Jesus was his last option. He doesn't have a choice. His daughter is dying. And Jesus is willing to go with him. Interesting. There is something in between. So you have Jairus, the woman with the blood, and then Jairus again. It is like to create a tension. And then Jesus walking with Jairus and this woman who had been suffering with blood for 12 years. She didn't ask anything to Jesus, but she had faith. Touching Jesus' cloak. So she got well. In the gospel says immediately. She was afraid, but Jesus tells her, no, woman, your faith has saved you. It's the faith of the woman that touched Jesus, and then, thanks to that faith, she was cured. In the meantime, Jairus is on the side. I just imagine Jairus saying, I hope this woman goes fast. My daughter is dying. And then the people from his house comes to tell him that she is dead. And Jesus overhears that and tells him to have faith. Jesus wants to cure Jairus' daughter, but he asks of him to have faith. No? And Jesus goes there to the house. No? And Jesus, the gospel says, no? Tells him, arise. No? He took the child by the hand, arise. The same word used for resurrection. Again, the child was 12 years old. The woman suffered 12 years. And then the conclusion is very beautiful. Jesus takes care of the girl, give her something to eat. Sometimes we are with difficulties. We know to do like the woman. We need to touch Jesus. We need to touch Jesus, not to be afraid. Lord, come to our help. And sometimes we need Jesus to encourage our faith when things are disturbing, when we don't find peace, when everything seems out of control. Jesus is encouraging us. Just have faith. Just have faith. Please share this video with all your acquaintances and contacts from the parish of St. Luke in Irving, Texas, and St. Leo the Great in Houston. May God bless you and give you life and happiness. Amen.